Welcome everyone. Today we have another new episodes, and this episode actually we do more focus on quality educations and the policy of the quality education. Especially we do focus on developing nations, country like Bangladesh, country like Malaysia, country like India, as well as we do focus on African nations. We have different experts from the different countries, and they're going to discuss about the quality of education and especially how we can create more qualityful policy and other things. We have our dean from Canadian University, Bangladesh. He is Professor Arif. Thank you, Professor Arif, to joining with us. We have Professor Bashar from Mahasai University. We have Chioma from Nigeria, as well as we have Ariful Alam. He is from Cambrian's education groups. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. So thank you joining with this World Talent Economy Forums. That basically World Talent Economy Forums, we are closely work with Asia Research and Development Institute, Al Noor Academy Sarhadia Barhad, as well as we are trying to creating a think tank. We come up with the different idea and different issues of the society, and we try to bring all of the expert already expert from 100 different countries from around the world. They already joined from North America to Asia to Africa to South Asia. Everywhere they are joining, and they're going to discuss. Today we're going to discuss about the policy issues. Especially we do focus on education, and especially the developing economy, where actually education is most important, and we have many good scholars from different countries and different education institutes. First, I request Dr. Professor Arif, can you please introduce yourself with our audience today?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sharif, and it's really an honor and privilege to be invited to this wonderful platform. You have created a wonderful platform. I have seen some of your programs, and I'm really impressed the way you are actually thinking to reshape the way the education is being conducted. So I am SM Arifuzzaman. I am right now the acting dean of Canadian University of Bangladesh Business School, and I have been in the teaching sector for the last 17 years. And during my career, I had the opportunity to work with all the top, very best private university, I must say, North, South, East, West, AIB, IUB, and BRAC University. I was the MBA coordinator of BRAC Business School. I had the opportunity to take some advanced corporate finance classes at IBA Dhaka University for some occasions. So I am in the business education for a longer period of time and trying to bring positive changes in the business education system of Bangladesh.
Thank you, Professor Arif. I request Professor Bashar's already you joined with World Talent Economy Forums, and especially when you discuss about the policy on the healthcare issue based on Malaysia and other countries, because you have vast experience from United Nations to from around the world. So can you introduce yourself, and how do you want to introduce the education system in Malaysia, especially based on your academic issue, especially Mahasai University?
Thank you, Mr. Sharif. Assalamu alaikum and good evening to the guest and all the audience across the continent who is watching at this moment, as well as who will be watching this program later on. It's a great privilege, and I am very much delighted to be invited in this very prestigious program, which I think this forum they are continuing for some time. They're bringing the talents across the world, and they're discussing very important issue and item in different countries, and this is how they are actually working to build the consensus as well as the exchange of the view and experience, so that each nation is benefited from each others. Well, I'm a physician and an academic from Bangladesh. I started my career in Bangladesh Army. I have been serving in Bangladesh Army for some time. Then I moved to private sector, particularly the clinical side as well as the academic side. I've been working in Malaysia for around 14 years in various universities. My present university, already you have heard the name, is Masha University. So I'm working as a professor of internal medicine. My field of interest is gastroenterology, obesity, and metabolic disorders. And I have also the fascination being a clinician as well as the academic. Uh, I have the interest in my professional field and beyond it. So I'm socially also connected with various activities. I'm the president of Malaysia Bangladesh Forum. I'm connected with the community and with the various problem I need to address and work with the various government and the private agency in Malaysia in particular, particularly to see the interest of the Bangladeshi and the migrants, and the branding of the Bangladesh in overseas is our another activity which I have the passion. Besides this, regarding the education, well, I think you understand the Malaysia is a transition. Malaysia is a visionary country who wishes to lend to a developed nation. So Bangladesh and Malaysia, if I put on the developed nation, the Malaysia is in between. So if I take my home country as the base country, and Malaysia is a little ahead in various places, I think what the discussion we can bring it out, what are the changes in the academic domain in Malaysia, which I observe in Malaysia, in various developed countries, as well as in Bangladesh. I can introduce you with the various changes. You know, the now due to the globalization, actually, as well as one is the globalization, I will say, which bring the big changes in every sphere of our life, because this globalization, the market and competition, these two things, there is a total reshape globally. And there are a lot of challenges. I think that's not the issue for today, but it has a tremendous effect in the education as well, because now due to impact of the globalization, our economy, our lifestyle, our culture, everything is changing. And due to this recent your COVID pandemic, which actually I will say that accelerated the tremendous changes, the magnitude in the delivery of the academic institution, and it's the vulnerability. So that I will highlight later on. This is my brief introduction about the academic situation in Malaysia.
Thank you, Professor. I directly ask questions. So, Chioma, you are from Nigeria, and you have actually very interesting book write up, and especially it's prominent around the world. Besides that, I want to know actually, how do you want to connect Nigerian education system with us, and how you want to introduce your education system?
Okay. Like you said, my name is Chioma Chigoziokum. I am 100% Nigerian trained. I've had all my education in Nigeria, and I also live and work in Nigeria. I work with Spiritan University, Nochi. I will teach in the Department of Computer Science. I'm a computer science major, though I now specialize in cybersecurity research, development, and education. So the Nigerian education system, like we know, may not be at where it's supposed to be. We have some issues with our education system. We have policy issues. We have issues of old curriculum. We have issues of poor ratification for teachers. Currently, we have university lecturers in the public sector striking for the past 6 months. There hasn't been academic work in public institutions in Nigeria, public universities in Nigeria. So we have all these issues and challenges confronting our education system. And then again, we have a lot of talent that is untapped. We have a lot of skills that are that are not harnessed in our education sector. You see a lot of education tourism happening around Nigeria. When you visit Malaysia, you see a lot of Nigerians in Malaysia studying. In Canada, in America, people are shipped every day out of Nigeria to where the system works. But then I keep telling people that if all of us leave Nigeria and go abroad, someone that means we are allowing our education system to totally collapse. So somebody has to stand up to these issues. We've been having a lot of symposium, conferences, and writing a lot of communiques on how the government can help, first of all, shape our curriculum to match what it is elsewhere. Secondly, to provide the infrastructure we need. You see universities that were built in the 1960s and 70s with the same infrastructure that served the students in the 60s and 70s, still used in 2020 with more number of students, and then at the end of the day we don't graduate the best. It's not like we don't have the best brains. We do have the good, and we do have the best brains, but the education system is not not at its best. So we look forward to collaborations with institutions out in Asia, in America, in the Middle East. We look forward to collaborations in way of exchange programs, in way of exchange of resources, human resources and academic resources to help build our education sector. So this is somehow is just like a summary of the state of things with regards to the Nigerian education sector and how we can partner with agencies, universities, and NGOs abroad to make things better for the education system in Nigeria and in other the developing countries.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, Mr. Arif, you are basically working for a Daffodil Educations Group as well as Cambrian Educations Groups. You have different experience, especially the private education system from Bangladesh. And you have lots of connections for higher education outside many countries. But my question is that how do you want to introduce present Bangladesh private education system as well as higher education systems as you want to compare to the European system or American systems? Can you please introduce with us?
Well, thank you, Mr. Sharif, for inviting me in this prestigious discussion. And I'm really honored to be part of the World Talent Economy Forum. The question you raise, it is about the quality issues. So I'm not actually a very right person to discuss about it, as I'm not a direct academician. However, as I'm dealing with international and transnational education system, I know a few things to discuss or point out. The education system in Bangladesh, it is not actually up to the mark if we compare with European standard or American standard, but definitely we are moving towards to the quality of standard of European and American system, because our syllabus and curriculum, I'm sure we have some professors from different private universities, they definitely know. The curriculum, actually basically we are following some university following American curriculum, some university may following British curriculum. So the curriculum is very important to follow the standard. So according to the curriculum, definitely we are moving to the standard. So that's how we can judge the quality.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Professor Arif, I want to ask you, because you have involvement with different prestigious universities from Bangladesh. Besides that, World Talent Economy Forums, we, as much as possible, we do engage with different kind of Ivy League universities, especially MIT and Stanford universities. And as well as we have a connections with different countries, academicians and the policymakers. But my question is that, how do you want to discuss the present situations, especially South Asian context, even though if you only focus on the Bangladesh education system, what is the ultimately objective, and is there any opportunities? And especially I do want to know how actually what happening inside Bangladesh education system in COVID period.
Okay, thanks a lot. That's a very interesting question. And in Bangladesh, two things happened. Two types of responses we have seen. One is from the public sector, other is from the private sector. I have found that the private universities, they were very much agile and they were very much prepared to start their classes online and within just 5 to 7 days, we have started taking class using the Zoom, and then we have used some other platform as well. And we are extensively using the Moodle software where we can share our files and video files also. We are also giving the whole lecture as a video. So, but unfortunately, public university in this regard, I have found that they are way backward. And sometimes they are also saying that we can start the class, but our students don't have this kind of, they don't have the adequate, I should say that materials, like they don't have the laptop, they don't have the webcam. So this kind of excuses are there. I'm feeling not good in that case, because in this time, I think that whenever you are having the education at the bachelor level, we must ensure that every student has this kind of opportunity, this kind of facility. But this is completely missing. I think that in terms of percentage, uh, only 20-30% student from whole Bangladesh, I think that they can attend the classes. And our teachers, majority were not prepared, and they had to struggle a lot. Like, because a good number of teachers I had seen earlier, that they were not very much, comfortable spending time in the digital platform. So, which is also a major flaw. But private universities, but not all, only 10 to 20 universities, they were actually up to the mark. So, overall situation, I must say, COVID has become a eye opener for Bangladesh. It has given a message that where do we lack and where we need to make the improvement. So I think that COVID, our authority or the policymaker should take this opportunity to rethink, because in today's world, without the digital education, you cannot really make yourself way forward. For example, if you look at the example of some of the greatest companies, they are now employing the people who are completing different type of online courses, because nowadays the most importance has been given to the skills acquisition rather than the degree. So Bangladesh is, I think that they lag behind other than some of the private universities. Initially, we were getting some obstacle from some of our students, so it is because of the mindset. But after we have started taking the classes, they are now very much okay. But my last point in this regard is that how we are conducting the class in the digital platform, mostly it comes back to the faculty members quality, because in the digital platform you can come up with different ways of taking classes. For example, for my case, I have found that the students learn quite a very better way, because I have utilized several ways to different mechanisms I have used. So as a result of this, I could make the classes bit effective, and I am still learning. But a majority of the faculty members, they have a mindset that, oh, digital platform is not a good one. So as a result of this, they are just leaving the field earlier. And from the students perspective also, their mindset was not ready, but now they have taken the preparation. But last point is about the parents level. I think that our parents should now come forward, and they should actually try to arrange a private place for the children. That is very important. I have found that some of my students, they cannot actually make the video on, because maybe they are sitting at a very odd place in the dining room. But my request is that this COVID kind of thing will basically sustain for a longer period of time, and as a result of this, any type of this type of disease again can come. But we have to take the precautions so that we can do the classes online. So as a result, I request all the parents, please take a preparation and make some arrangements so that your child, your children, your sons, your daughter, they can do the classes online. So that is my view.
Thank you, Professor Arif. I want to ask question, Professor Bashar. Basically, Professor Arif come up with a very interesting idea about online education system. I want to know how actually Malaysian education system support through this online systems and other thing. And second things, I think he's come up with another interesting things about the employment opportunities and other things. How do you want to introduce the employment opportunities in Malaysia? Especially, how do you want to focus on industry-driven education? Because when we discuss with these global universities and that their policymakers and other things, still they believe that we have to go long way. And definitely we have to come up with the industry-driven educations. So what do you want to share with us?
Thank you. I think Professor Arif has highlighted some important aspect of what are the changes. Actually, in my experience over the 40 years in the education domain, there is a very rapid and tremendous changes overall the education system globally. It's not any particular. I already mentioned actually this COVID situation, pandemic, COVID, for which the world was not ready, which facilitated the tremendous changes in the education system. Actually, education is a dynamic system. You understand, it's nothing fixed. While we started our study, even many of you, I think, it's a traditional system, the Bologna system globally, and many countries still they follow it. But there is a very big changes. I told you in the developing country, developed country, and least developed country, because due to resources and other facilities, the transition is very slow. Say for the developed country, actually they're well ahead. Already, I think everybody is aware of all the developed country. If I mention, say for UK, USA, Australia, New Zealand, they have already not only the campus based, their business has expanded online, and the degree is equally credible. So already it was in the market, but I said that this COVID situation suddenly, due to this disruption of face-to-face academic maneuver, because due to this, the lockdown, most of the country academic institutes are closed, people cannot move. So the problem is, say for Bangladesh, like other country, the poor country, Bangladesh is a developing country, I could say, but still the people's the buying capacity, economic capability, because it has a relation, because nowadays this online teaching it related with the money and technology. So Bangladesh is, I think, coming up, but number one, they are not ready. Number two, the financially they are not in that position. So that's why the Malaysia, I think it's a bit better. They already have introduced, because say for in my university, we have the face-to-face, as well as many we have usually broadcast so the students. The student was a bit, they are oriented with the online assignment, online assessment. These are already introduced in Malaysia. So that's why I say Malaysia is a bit, the education system, because I am for 15 years in Malaysia, I find the curriculum review, because every 5 years they review the curriculum, they update the curriculum, the modalities. They already moved to outcome-based curriculum. Say for Bangladesh even most of the teacher, education institution, they even do not know what is outcome-based education. And again, there is another changes. This I think already started 30 to 40 years back. Say even in our part, we focus on higher education, tertiary education. But actually there is no application. A lot of the people, they are graduate, they are masters, they are PhD, but they don't have the scope to contribute in the society. This is another challenge. But their mindset is, but in the developed country, they already, the transition has started, I think, 40, 50 years back. They go for the technical education, they go for vocational education. They do not go for the traditional tertiary education, what is happening in our subcontinent, or like this, I think in Africa also, in many countries. So, but Malaysia, they have introduced many the hybrid education system. An education system is many things actually they have to address when they make the policy. One is the national policy. What are the goals and objective of the nation? So that is one aspect. And another is education is, I think, while we had the student, that was the main, but now education is industry driven, because ultimately after the education, people, they are going for employment. So if they cannot employ, so that's why industry nowadays, even in Malaysia, the stakeholder, they participate, the student, the corporate management, as well as the industry, they are visiting, they are inviting, what is the requirement, which type of skill they require. So university, say even, say for, I give you example in the University Malaya. University Malaya is a very renowned and topmost university in Malaysia, and one of the QS ranking university. And that university, they have to merge various departments, because they don't get the student, because they don't get a student, because these students after graduating, they don't find employment opportunity, because there are a lot of changes. And another is nowadays, I think the dominating in the education is the technology. So the ICT has a tremendous, I think, contribution nowadays, as well as another thing is already, I think, say for artificial intelligence. So that's why the human role in the past and the role in future, there is a paradigm shift totally. So in future, maybe people may be totally unemployed, maybe on the technology base. So in Malaysia, they already adopted that system and their economy is better. So that's why I say in Malaysia, actually, when this COVID is impending, the university very rapidly, they have a plan, they meet and they trained up the teacher as well as the student. So I did not find any problem. Rather, actually, I will say many have, I think, one, there is a question from the audience, what is the role of the teacher? Actually, the role of the teacher now manifold. Earlier, say, in the traditional system, you have the knowledge and experience, you go and deliver. But nowadays, actually, you have to demonstrate as well as you have to follow the student. Student is not in your touch. So now the responsibility of the teacher to deliver the content, I think, is manifold. And another problem is, therefore, in our country or many places, the teachers are not ready, as Prof. Arif has said, as in Bangladesh, because they are not ready. And even the many teachers that are very traditional, they have the prejudice. They don't want to change. But if they don't want to change, they cannot cope up. I said due to globalization, now no country is isolated. They have to be at par of the global standard. So, and another is now for people say, for I studied in Bangladesh, but I work in many countries. Still, I'm working outside. So, actually, nowadays, I teach, I usually take to the student, they are not trained for the local employment. They are for the global market. So, again, the academic institution, they have to actually revamp their curriculum and impart of teaching so that their product is the student, right? So they are at par for the global market. So these are the things need to be actually incorporated in the curriculum. And again, I said the earlier, the tradition for long-term study, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, this tradition is changing. Nowadays, the thing is a very highly technical. So if somebody is skilled a particular, because due to vast expansion of the information, nowadays one person cannot contain all information. So one will be expert in one particular domain. So they will be trained for 6 months or 1 year. Nowadays, even developed country, they go for the diploma or certificate program. Even in developed country, it is already very popular, the certificate program, say for postgraduate certificate program or diploma program, which yet to introduce in our part, say for in Bangladesh and Malaysia already they have introduced. So these are the things, I think a lot of the changes, I said that total deformed and new shaped the education system. They want to exist. They have to be. Now, say for while we studied, the only a few students, foreign students, say for where I am teaching, most of the students is the foreign students. So again, the market is open. Due to this globalization, where the opportunity people are going, people are coming from one country to another country, they study, they work. So that's why the education system nowadays, the policymaker, while they formulate the policy for a particular country, they are not actually, they consider the local condition and circumstances, as well as they have to keep in their purview about the global circumstances. What is the new challenges? So that's why what I will say, we should be, the student should be prepared, the lecturer should be prepared, and the team, all the people involved here actually to deliver the teaching skill in this new era. Everybody has to upskill themselves. So Malaysia is in a transition. Malaysia already prepared, because they have a vision. I think you know it. Malaysia has a vision to lend to a developed nation by 2020. Though they are actually they cannot achieve it by 2020. But that vision actually has facilitated the push the whole nation. The most of the thing is in place, I could say, in education system, in the health sector, in the governance, and many things. Malaysia has definitely they're moving forwards like any other developed nation. So this I could contribute at this point.
Thank you. Thank you.
Malaysia.
Yes, thank you, sir. Basically, I put one of the important question because you said that artificial intelligence actually coming. to the industry. And we have a report, especially from NASA, that 49 million people going to lose their job only because of artificial intelligence. On the other hand, we have different kind of projects. Even Africa, I know that they have billions of people, and they have a think tank like TAFFDS, and they are heavily involved with technologies and other kind of things. Besides that, I also want to learn. We want to know. We want to actually. There are huge audience question and response. I will take audience question as well. So we want to know more about like how actually we will compete against this artificial intelligence, against this kind of things, because that is the main objective for World Talent Economy Forums. How we can help more youth community, and how we can yes. Cyber Chuma, can you hear me?
Okay.
Cyber Chuma, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes.
Can you
please
hear me?
introduce? Can you please introduce about? Yes. Yes. Can you please introduce about TAFFDS
Yes,
activities?
I got the question.
TAFFDS activities.
Yes. Transdisciplinary Agora for Future Discussion, which with the acronym TAFFDS, is a group that is championing discussions about future technologies and how they are going to affect our lives. I saw a question in the audience that asked about how artificial intelligence is going to affect education. And then you also made mention of the fact that artificial intelligence is going to take over a chunk of our jobs. Yes, that is true. A lot of machine learning algorithms, deep learning algorithms, and artificial intelligence have been developed to do the regular jobs that we know, the everyday jobs, the factory jobs, the tasks that we already know. So they have been created to take away the burden from everyday job. But then, instead of looking at it from the light that AI is coming to take away our jobs, I advocate that people look at it that AI is taking away hard work from us and giving us more time to focus on smart work. Yes, AI is going to help us do most of the regular jobs, the hard work that we do. It now opens up a lot of opportunities for those who have plugged themselves. That is where TFDS comes in, making people to think into the future, to be futuristic in their thinking, in their capacity building, and in their projections into the future. Because if you don't plan for the future, that is when you can wake up one morning and find out that your job has been taken over by a robot. Okay, so this is a wake-up call for all of us in the schools, in the universities, to start training young people differently, with a paradigm shift in mindset. Let us stop training people to remember things, to follow procedures, because a robot can do that. A robot can follow procedure. A robot can do the same thing over and over again, which is what the current education system is training us to do. But there should be a lot of think tanks and discussions, brainstorming sessions to find out ways of improving the curriculum, to train the young minds to think out of the box, to be more of critical thinkers, to be more of analytical thinkers, to be more of problem solvers. Because most times you go to the university, you study for 4 years, you want to come out and get a job that you go and sit on a desk and do the same thing over and over again, maybe for 30 years, and then you retire. What fulfillment do you get from that? But if all of us begin to train our students to think, I tell my students that being a computer science graduate goes beyond working, as in learning how to fix computers when they get faulty, or how to use applications that have been developed already. Being a computer science graduate in 2020 should wake you up to the fact that you should be a problem solver. You should be able to identify problems in your environment that you can solve. So this is where our education system should be focusing on ways of making our system dynamic, making our graduates dynamic, making our graduates critical thinkers and analytical thinkers, so that when the AIs and the robots take the regular everyday jobs, we can now move a step further, evolve, and start doing something into the future. Start solving. We can even start solving future problems in the present. Nothing stops us from looking into the future, making projections of what is going to happen in the future, and solve those problems in the present, so that when we arrive at the future, we don't meet any issues of contingency. So this is I call for educational summits, conferences, symposia to brainstorm on how do we change the mindset of the young people. How do we train people to not think as to not be regular thinkers like we are achieving now, do the regular jobs which I can deploy an AI or a robot to do, but how to now become critical problem solvers and people that can project and look into the future and solve real life problems. So I tell people, don't be scared about AI taking your job. Be more scared about not being able to think and work in the future. That is where our fear should be. AI can take our everyday regular jobs, but AI cannot take our thinking faculty as human beings. We are always a step ahead of AIs because we have the intuition, we have the natural thinking faculty, and the ingenuity that is being given to us to do critical thinking, which AIs are not able to do as of now. So that is where the discussions in TAFs come up. We talk about futuristic discussions into the future, and making projections into the future, and how we solve problems of the future in the present, so that we have a more comfortable life when we arrive at the future.
Thank you. Mr. Arif, I want to ask you questions. My question is that, like, what the situation of the students, those who go abroad from Bangladesh?
Well, the outbreak of COVID-19.
I think that someone is using the Facebook.
Yeah,
Sorry, like I think the echo is. Someone is actually running the Facebook, maybe also.
Maybe. The outbreak of COVID started from the March 2020 in Bangladesh, after the Europe and other countries in America. So after that, actually, every year there are a lot of students going abroad from Bangladesh for their pursuing their higher study, undergrad, masters, and PhD. Somehow this year, no one could join to their undergrad, masters, and PhD program because of the COVID outbreak. There are universities from abroad, UK, America, Canada, Australia. They are offering online education. But in Bangladesh, we are not used to with the online education. As Professor Arif mentioned before, the students are not ready actually for the online programs. So that's why no one started their program. So they are waiting for the next year or next semester. So that's how actually COVID affected for a student looking to abroad study, as well as that affected to the local student. So in this year, that's going to affect more because every year there is about 7 to 8 lakhs student pass out HSC. But this year we are feeling the probability of passing her would be 100, because they will pass automatically based on their junior school certificate and secondary school certificate. So that would be about 15 lakhs. So the number of students are passing out. They will not have enough space to study in Bangladesh, and they will not able to go abroad because of the COVID. So there will be a huge vacuum, student vacuum here in Bangladesh. So we need with the people working with the student recruitment and placement locally and internationally, they need to fix the strategy before the result passed out. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Professor Arif, I want to ask you a few questions from audience because you come up with a very interesting idea that Bangladesh also moving with this online educations as well as I think already we understand that we have to be more industry driven. We're going to discuss on that particular point. But there are a few questions from audience. Actually, there is a huge response from audience. They have many questions. So I take step by step. Mohammad Sohail Rana, his question is that, hello, sir, what is the role of teaching in current situation where the teachers are taking online classes? I think you already discussed, but you can discuss details.
I think that's a very nice.
Yes,
You
I
want to
just want
take
to
more
take another
questions and then.
questions. Yes.
Okay.
Humaira Tanzila actually send you, hello everyone. Thank you all for your presence and sharing valuable thoughts in the sessions. And there is another question, specific question from Shahinul Islam. What the role do you think government and institutions should play in education after COVID? So yes, Professor Arif.
Yeah, thanks a lot. First question was quite interesting, and I should say that COVID has basically again another eye opener because naturally, what happened in the context of the subcontinent, teachers mostly have a dominating role, which is actually not true for the developed country. There, the faculty members mostly play the role of a facilitator, which is actually they create the environment where everybody can interact and everybody can learn, and they let the student think freely. But in the context of subcontinent, especially in Bangladesh, mostly the students are not encouraged to ask the challenging questions, and teachers always have a superior role. And in some public universities, I have found it's a very not a very good way. Like there is a uh, there is a classroom, and the teachers always they stand in a very there is another kind of dais for the faculty member. So faculty member occupy this higher position. So which is not true for the developed country. So I think that COVID has showed us the way that here now teachers' role now have become more as a facilitator, because I am taking the online classes, so I have to be the facilitator. No way I cannot have the dominating role. This is the first thing. The second thing I think it's fantastic is basically I can have the customization, because I can interact with the students individually sometime, and sometime I can send other sessions also in the Zoom. So it has become more customized, and I think that this is this should be the main objective of the education, because not all my lectures are not, it cannot be that it cannot influence all the teacher, all the students. So teachers are coming from different background. So COVID has actually let us to come up with a customized way to interact with different type of students, what I have found. Because I can use different types of tool with different students, I can give them the more time. And the next question is that what is the institution? I believe that
Government and institutions should
yeah,
play in education after COVID.
yeah, I think that government and institutions, they should invest heavily, give in terms of giving the high quality internet and all the other facilities, like so that the student, for example, that if you look at some of the great companies, they have allotted $1,000 for the employee who are working from home. That's a fantastic thing. It is believed that okay, you are home, but some of the Bangladeshi companies, they are cutting the salary. They are saying that as you are working from home, so cut salary. But the great companies are doing the opposite thing, that you are at home, so I must give you the all type of facilities. So I think that government and institutions, they should now move forward and give the facilities to the faculty members and the students, how they can equip themselves in the best manner. So I have found that in the Facebook that one company is there who are selling different type of educational materials, which I found fantastic, but only few companies. So it indicates that we are still very much negligent about the learning materials. But I think that the government and institutions now come forward. For example, Coursera and all these things. Look at them; they are all great companies, but they are letting students from different parts of the world to learn and get the things at a very lower cost. But government and institutions now, they should come forward and give the environment, and they should invest heavily in this digital to create a great digital learning platform.
Thank you, Professor Arif. Professor Bashar, can you please introduce the role of governments and institutions after this COVID situations for higher education?
Well, government and institution, they are in the same row, interconnected. Well, so they have a lot of the actually what I understand, particularly Bangladesh or the country like Bangladesh. One is fear of unknown. Bangladesh people, our students, our parents, our teachers, our management, actually they do not know about this mode of delivery the teaching. They are prejudiced with the existing face-to-face tradition, what Professor Arif has said. Actually, and another thing is, this is my observation, visiting many places as well as working and at this age. In Bangladesh, the teaching actually, they're providing you only information. So that's why you will see when the Bangladeshi, the boys, the global competition, they're not well knowledgeable. So that's why most of the developed country, they do not recognize our degree because they have essays. The teaching we impart in our part, we only provide information. And again, there are a lot of what Professor Arif has said, we have the dominating role. Actually, teacher role should be to provide the knowledge so that the student, the knowledgeable, they are equipped with information as well as the skill to perform a particular responsibility, duty, whatever. So that is the greatly lacking in our education system. So I say in Bangladesh, one is fear of unknown. Number two, they are not ready. Number three, they are prejudiced. They don't want to change. But there is no alternative. They have to change. But the very good thing is that our young generation, very rapidly, they can pick up the things. So that's the very good thing. Say for 30 years before, I could not imagine, say for even in the remote places in Bangladesh, there will be the smartphone. Now this smartphone is even the remote area of the Bangladesh or many other countries, even the peasants and the farmers, the housewife, everybody are having the one smartphone. And once you have the smartphone, actually you are connected with the global community. So the institution and the government, they are actually they plan and they design, I said, depending on the local need, constitution, as well as the global market. So that's why the stakeholder, one is the government also a stakeholder, the corporate, the institution who is delivering, as well as the teacher and others, they are also another, and the student. So all actually has to come together. And this thing actually will vary from country to country. Every country, they have their own experience. They have own limitation. That will take some changes. But actually, it is the government who are formulating. So first, they have to change their mindset. So they have to see their plan. I already give an example. Say for when the COVID situation is flourishing in other parts of the world. So the Malaysia government, they make the policy, even the education system. So we have the seminar, we have the interaction with the management. They meet with the Ministry of Higher Education. So this is how the thing has streamlined. So there is no controversy. And again, I will say one is we have to change. There is no choice. The globalization compelled everyone has to change. You know, the many countries where globalization has started, they're very conservative. Now every country, even if it's the Russia, the China, everybody opening their corridor because there is no choice. So the thing has changed. The knowledge, the delivery, the new technology has come. So that's why, yes, somebody has said, what will be the role of the teacher? Now I understand, say, I'm as a teacher. Earlier I found it was easy. Now it is more challenge. I have to work more, though I'm working from my home. But now one is the flexibility. I say another thing is due to this technology incorporation. Say people earlier they are compelled, they have to go to, say, for morning to evening in the school campus, they have to go. But nowadays, because many people, they have the various problem, financial problem, physical problem, environmental problem, social problem. But wherever they stay, they can continue their study. So learning become very easy, flexible. I think you already aware of all the developed countries. If we say that who are the leaders in the education domain, say Harvard, right? Like this. So Massachusetts, if you say like this, say for the Toronto University, like this. I just give an example. Every country, everyone, they have already adopted. and the nation already prepared. So in our part, our nation, particularly Bangladesh, is not prepared. But I think the Malaysia, they did not find much difficulty. Our student, because my student, local student, as well as many, we have the student over 100 countries across the globe. So all are participating. They adjust with the timing. When we take the classes, everybody joins. So we can monitor. We are interacting. I think interaction also better than before. Now, so these are the thing I say. One is the government has to formulate, and they have to convince the institution, because many institutions, they have a lot of the challenges. One is prejudice. Number two is the financial problem. Institution for the country like Bangladesh and many poor country, I think the buying the technology, needs a lot of the investment. So that is another challenge. And number three, what actually they have to do, that is only the policy maker, the government have to do, that is the training of the manpower. So the teachers, that is important, because our teacher, not only the knowledge, but they have to know how to deliver it, as well as they have to equip with the technology. What are the modern technology? And again, you see that this technology is very rapidly changing. So for if we take our smartphone, the model every year is changing. So new technology is coming. So that's why we need to learn more. I think rather now the responsibility more. So for 30 years, say for 50 years ago, whatever they have learned in the school, in the rest 50 years, they sell it. But now what you learn in the morning, in the evening, you may not be able to sell it. Because so learning is, now the concept changes. The learning is lifelong learning. It's for every profession, say business, education, engineering, whatever the domain. New theories are coming, new technology, new concept is coming. So the learning concept, if you think, okay, I went to the university, I studied 4 years, okay, now I'm well equipped with the knowledge and skill. No, the moment you actually cross, you get your certificate, then your knowledge become invalid, no application. So these are the things happening everywhere, and we have to upkeep ourselves with this current dynamic situation, right? So life is dynamic. So what we need to do, we have to, our government, our institution also bring changes from their mindset. That is important. If you do not change mindset, the thing will not change. They have to adopt it. What Professor Arif has said, yes, also from my own experience. Earlier, say for we have the face-to-face lecture, didactic lecture, I go and deliver it. But I have to prepare now, I have to interact, I have to monitor, I have to give assignment, everything online. Then student, they send their assignment, I have to evaluate, I have to give mark, and again, you saw this is, I think a lot of the thing has changed. So earlier the examination system, the assessment system. I also think this assessment system need tremendous changes. In the developed country, already it has changed. But in our countries, in Bangladesh, like other country like Bangladesh, because the traditional system, they don't want to change because they are in their comfort zone. But I will tell you, within 5 years, 10 years, they will be able, because they lose their job. Already, even I am afraid of all the big campuses of the university in many parts of the world. Nobody will go there, because now even if you can get a Harvard degree sitting somewhere in remote Bangladesh, why you will travel to go to USA? You have a lot of hassle, buy the ticket, get the visa, and so many hazard. So sitting in your own room, in your own house, in your own comfort, you are getting the highest degree, most credible degree of the world. So that we need to understand our government, our institution. And I said, now the thing, you cannot be isolated. You are part of the global community. So whether it is in Bangladesh or Malaysia or Canada, does not matter. Everybody has to be at the same level of their knowledge, their capability, right? And then only they can sustain. So that's why, yes, artificial intelligence is a big challenge is coming for us. But if we equip how to adapt with it, then I think we can conquer it. Because who has discovered artificial intelligence? It is again the human being who have discovered it. Again, I think new thing will come in future. New area will open for the, yes, this is a very challenge, but I think nothing to be despair or frustrated. Today's young generation, today's youth, or the student who are learning, but only they have to change their mindset to cope up the new things, to accept the new thing, to accept the changes. Because now I think the opportunity has wide open. So I already give you an example. Earlier you have to go to USA, you have to go to Canada, you have to go to the UK. Now you can get the UK, the topmost guaranteed credible degree from your own home. So that we have to accept, we have to adapt. This is my comment on it.
Mhm, mhm. Okay, okay. Thank you, Professor. Actually, there are many questions from audience. If you allow me, I can take few questions. Mr. Arif, like, can you please introduce, because you have heavily involved with. Yes, Mr. Arif, can you hear me? I think, Mr. Arif, can you hear me? Mr. Arif, can you hear me? Dr. Bashar, can you hear me?
Yes, I
Yes.
can hear you now. I think the internet line was interrupting.
Okay, okay, okay. I'm sorry about that. I want to know, like, example, as many of the students actually go abroad from Bangladesh. So what do you want to share? Like, what they learning from global community and how they contributing for Bangladesh?
Question to me or to Arif?
Mr. Arif, can you hear me, Mr. Arif? I think he has internet problems, so I want to take few questions from audience for Professor Bashar. Number one questions, Mohammad Sohel Rana. I think already you start to discuss that. How much do you think technology, especially robotics, IoT, AI, big data, could change the future of education system? And I want to take more questions. Shumon Dorji, his question is that, hello sir, do you think standardized testing is most effective way to judge learning? Professor, yes.
Okay, this is the regarding the assessment. There are different theory and the experience. Again, this experience varies from I think the developed country, developing country, because everybody's the background is different. So accordingly, it will varies. Again, the standard also varies, but everybody has to achieve a particular level, optimal level. That is the thing which is now acceptable at the global community. That has to be set nowadays in every institution, because when we take the exam, say for there is a formal exam, national board exam, school exam, class test, formal and informal, right? So the summative assessment, all those things need a lot of the changes. Earlier, say for many countries, I think that say for we take example in Bangladesh, there is SSC, there is the HSC, like this national. These are for national standardization, but still we find there are a lot of flaws in that system. So I think it is better each and every country, if they upgrade their standard. So whatever in the remote places, say for even in, I take an example of Bangladesh, say for in the city and in the village. So in the urban setting and the village setting, the student, they read the same book, but the different set of the teacher and the different places they taught, but so the outcome is different. So same also I think that there are many other things. One is who is imparting this teaching. Many places, say for if we take example, even in Bangladesh, many public universities or public institutes, school level. Say for in Bangladesh, there is a model school like say for Jilai school or cadet college, something like this. But again, there are many others. So in the same country, they are following the same national curriculum, but the outcome is different. So the performance is different. So something is actually lacking the implied curriculum because the teacher who is imparting, they're not adequately trained up. So one is needs the training of the teachers, and another is the greatly lacking. I think it is everywhere, but more common in several in our context. Who is going for teaching? Most of the who is not getting any employment any other places, they are going for teaching. So is the quality already compromised? The best people should go for teaching. So this is one aspect. Number two, if somebody have I say the information but how to impart it, that is another technique. So most of the teachers, they're not trained up how to impart the education. That is also a big challenge, I think, in many countries. Therefore, everybody now the education becomes a commodity, everywhere, even in our country also. But they employ the people lacking quality. Number two, they do not have the training. And number three is those people, they are not passionate. Say for in many school or college, university, if you go, actually they are employed for timing, and whenever they find another opportunity, they quit the place. Then again, the management has to find a new teacher or something like this. So this is how actually I say in the same time and same curriculum, why the outcome varies from place to place. So this is also, I think, another challenge for everywhere. So this standardization, that's why I say this is a myth. It will vary. But if we can place the standard everywhere equal, say whether in the village setting or in the urban setting, if same, then the product will be the same. So you will get the same value. So this is the problem I already mentioned. Say for many people, they have studied, they have the best degree, they have the best result, say in home country like Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, and around. And even for Malaysia, if they go to USA or Australia or Canada, UK, they do not recognize the degree. So that is the problem. We have to actually focus those areas regarding the standardization. So that's why I say this is the many pros and cons. What do you mean? And you have to define, you have to fix. But I say nowadays, we are compelled to follow. This is the domination of the developed country, the civilized nation. So this is, if we set, but again I say, to set that standard is a challenges because we do not have the educated people. We do not have the money. Say for even many school, even many government institutions in Bangladesh, they do not have the money for technology. Many students, they do not have the money to buy the technology to embrace and to overcome this new situation. So this is my response to this question.
Mr. Arif, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
Sorry,
okay. I have a
think
question.
Yeah.
Okay, understand. I want to take this question for you. What is the effect of research, supervisions, and administrative duties on teaching quality?
Will you mind to repeat the question? So
Okay,
I can answer you very clearly.
basically, he do more focus on what is the effect on teaching quality, especially administrative duties, supervisions, and the research. So can you come up with the role and responsibility of the administrative persons in the quality of education?
Yes, if you will find everywhere in public and private universities in Bangladesh, there is a quality cell implemented by the University Grant Commission. So the quality in this cell, there are people who work with the administration. They align with the academic people to implement the quality in education system. So definitely, and the top management of the university, like pro vice chancellor or vice chancellor, they are the administrative people in the university, definitely. So the registrar are also the administrative people. So they actually oversee the department. So that is definitely the administrative department and academic department are well connected for implementing the quality in education and implementing the research in education. In another thing is that I would like to address and add with Professor Bashar's point that the people, those who are not getting anything else, they go to the education. It is partly true in school, college, but in terms of university, it is not true because we can see mostly the second position, first position students are joining with the teaching profession in university. Otherwise, university do not allow them to the teaching profession. So the bright student coming to the university, fortunately, at this from I think it started for before long days. So far, I know.
Okay, thank you. Professor Bashar, I want to take more questions because there are many questions from audience, but I want to take few. Mehdi Hassan, he said, hello sir, I would like to know how will the student be given quality lessons in the COVID-19 epidemic situation, what to do? Mr. Azizur Rahman, his question that is it important to thinking how much quality teaching is necessary to enhance quality learning?
Okay, so I think regarding the quality teaching, I say from my own experience, this the teaching quality has not compromised, but the student many a times in many places they're used to seeing the face of the teacher. It does
Mhm.
not mean if you see the face of the teacher, you learn more or better. Even in the classroom, say some are sitting in the front row, some are sitting in the back row. Those in the back row, either they gossip or they chat or they're in the Facebook, they're engaged. So does not mean always. So it depends on actually the student preparation. Students should have a goal, what they want to learn. So it's both the way. If a student is mentally ready, they are prepared for the lesson. And number two, if the teaching is imparted by the qualified people, so I think there is no question of the compromise of the quality of the teaching. Now I say now access is more. You can directly one-to-one access. Say student now in different places. The when a class is conducting, then student can directly interact. So this I said it is the mindset because many are prejudiced going to the school a particular time. But now I said that now they're more flexible. Say going to the office, you have to have some preparation, dress change, many other things. Now also your burden is reduced. You are at your own drawing room or your bedroom. You are sitting. You just have to connect with your class. But first is the preparation. If a student is not, I think, prepared for the class, whether it is the face-to-face or it is online, the outcome is the same. But another thing is we actually, one is we interact. Number three is student is evaluated because they are giving the assignment and they have to submit it and it is evaluated. And again, we give the feedback to the student. So this is how I think the quality of teaching is improving. And I say it is a prejudice. The student are used to going to the class, sitting in the classroom and listening to the teacher. But I said nowadays, yes, sometimes there is some problem of internet communication. Say for here also, Mr. Arif is not cannot hear. Like this, it is in some places. But I think the most of the country, due to this requirement of the internet, the government also focusing. And now more powerful internet facilities are now, I think, is available in the most of the places. So from my own experience, we have the student in India, we have the student in Nigeria, we have the student in Singapore, we have the student say, in Malaysia in a different state, we have the student from Bangladesh. So I did not find they are actually can interact with us, they listen because now student also ready and they have more time because they don't need to waste time for traveling, for preparing to going out. Going out from your home, you have to have some, the preparation. So now I think they get extra time for study if really they want to dedicate. So this is, and again, the most important, the flexible. So some student there, even say, if nowadays, due to this flexible study schedule, they don't need to join in the classroom 8 o'clock because already there is a video, the lecture and everything is there. So students, they work in the morning. In the evening, they can come and they open, they rewind, they can listen to the lecture. So now I think the learning become more easy and more flexible. That is a great opportunity. Just we need to grab it and you need to invest for it.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you, Professor. As Mr. Arif, you have engagement with Cambrian Education Group, even Daffodil, they have schools. There are some questions for school level students. So I want to take a few questions. Number one, Hosnara Ferdos, she asked question, is there any psychological test to measure thinking pattern of school children? There is another critical questions from Malaysia. Noor Fazrin, she said, greetings from Malaysia. Online class can run for a long time, both university and school. Is it good alternative? So what it is good alternative. So what is the reason that school are opening soon almost every country of the world?
Well, I'll go for the first question, the psychology. So definitely, I had been working with the country's largest education provider called BSB Cambrian Education Group, own about 12 institution, school, college, and also worked with the Daffodil family. They are also they also own about 15 institutions. So apart from 15, they have some school level institution. So in the school level, they appointed clinical psychologists and those who they take care of the students. They take care of the student mentality. They talk to the student to see their thinking level, and they measure their feelings, how they are coping with the education. If they find any difficulties or deficiency, they definitely take the help of guardian and take them to the some sort of counseling to bring them out from that situation. And about the online system, definitely it should not be a permanent solution, because we know from the beginning of our life, even from our parents, they used to learn from the face-to-face learning was always effective. So if you go for fully online, that might have some problem, like if you go for lab facilities, the online they cannot show the experiment of lab very clearly to the students. So in terms of any practical or engineering programs, I think face-to-face learning or hands-on learning is very important. So the online cannot be the permanent solution for education.
Okay, thank you. Sir, I want to take more question. Actually, there are many questions. So anyway, Onika Shams, hello. It is a great discussion. What is your advice of quality education for special children under developing countries? And Mohammad Shohel Rana, he asked another question. Hello, sir. My question is why teachers are made to do more clerical work than teaching work? Is it needed for quality educations?
Okay, there is two question anyway. So for definitely for special requirement children, they should be trained their schooling in a special school. They do not go for ordinary classical schools. So because there is a specially trained people and they can impart the teaching. So that's I think is important. Those, but unfortunately, those type of a special school even scarce in developed country, and most of the underdeveloped countries these are absent. This is really a great regret, but I think the government and society has to come forward, because that is also another thing is our mindset, because those who need the special help, again the family, they have the prejudice, society has the prejudice, but now the things are changing, I think. So yes, you have to send the children for their education in where those specially trained people and the facilities are there. So this is one. Number two is question is regarding, yes, this is the mindset. I think we are in a transition, and the corporate people, they have a tendency. They think they're giving salary to the teachers, so they have the mindset of enslaving. So I think this, as it is a transition, they ask for so many documents and evidence. So this is again due to their prejudice. I say, as a person, as a teacher, I feel my workload has increased manifold due to all those reasons. So I think we need to interact with the stakeholder, right? So that the teacher can contribute as a facilitator, or they can engage themselves for the research work. Because if they are burdened with this, so the clerical work, say for that you don't need a highly skilled people. That can be done even by your class 8 or class 10 qualified clerical secretarial science graduate. They can do it. For that, don't need a professor or PhD qualified people to do all those clerical work. I fully agree. I also feel this thing, sense it, but we cannot change it right now. That is the real situation. Another one, I just want to compliment regarding Mr. Arif response. This is not universal, but say for Bangladesh, you have said yes, the most talented people are going for teaching in the higher education. That's still, I think, not fully happening. Yes, in some places, even our topmost result also manipulated, the bias, the political and other influences are there. So we cannot take it. Even those students, say for they pass, even they did not have place due to political influence and others, they are employed as a teacher. You have seen many, even our national universities, our teachers, they have the plagiarism, they have the copied, they have the false PhD. So that is the situation prevailing. We have to, anyway, I think it's a transition. Gradually it will improve. But if we can, because one is when the most talented people will be attracted, because they need recognition, they need incentive. Until unless our society do not give best award, incentive, respect, why the best people will come? They will be going out where they get the more salary. This is the problem for the teacher. Even the private, I say that education is a commodity. So the businessmen, they always try to employ with the less money. So always the best thing, you have to pay maximum, the investment. So same thing, it is everywhere, not in Bangladesh, in other places. But say for in Malaysia, I'm giving, in some other country I have visited, they do not compromise the quality at least. That is important. But in Bangladesh, even you have the quality, if you do not give the bribe, you will not get accreditation. So this is our system is totally corrupted. Our people mindset from top to bottom, right? We need to change. Who will drive the change? It is the political system. Our political people are not ready. They are not well equipped with the knowledge. They are totally corrupted. How they will bring changes? This is the unfortunate. Those our youth, they born in Bangladesh. I born in Bangladesh. I cannot change it, right? So this is very unfortunate. If the same boy born in any developed country, actually in their life, the impact will be totally different. Because even if you are talented, it is not recognized. If you want to go to the university, library, and other places, there are many hindrances. I don't want to mention all those things. You are staying in Bangladesh, you understand what are the experience. Even the people, they do not have the, say for the girls, they do not have the security. Even the boys, I find today there are some boys, they went for their interview and then they have been kidnapped. So what type of actually the situation prevailing, so how they will study. So all this together has impact in our life. We are not an isolated in an island. So where all those irregularity in our society, all the corruption, all the influences from the various aspects. So that's why I find, I see the Bangladeshi boys going outside, they're flourishing. And say, well, I was born in Bangladesh, I studied in Bangladesh, I am teaching in the foreign country, in university, running, establishing the department. I am the same person, right? So like this, all the, that's why our youth, I say they have the tremendous potentiality. So this is the problem, is we have to change our social system. That is I think the big challenges. Then only you can, right. I just, I think not to hurt anyone, just to complement why the problem actually continuing in Bangladesh. There are many factors. These are the few factors I just mentioned.
Okay, thank you. That is the last questions I want to take from the audience. I want to start from Mr. Arif, and you give this question answers, and then we will go for the concluding remarks. Abiyaz Mustahin, hello sir, what should be the characteristics of quality teaching in COVID situation? I think I want to ask these questions both of Mr. Arif and Professor Bashar.
Well, I will answer very shortly, and then I think Professor Bashar will explain in detail because he's in teaching. So the thing is that this is the very new situation, the COVID situation in the world. So we have to face it. But our teachers were not ready actually for delivering the teaching during the COVID through online. So they have to get trained before they deliver to the student. So in terms of quality, there is one chance to fall down the quality. And once teachers are ready, and then students also are not ready for taking the quality teaching, because of the internet and other infrastructural facilities. So the quality actually not tuning with the between teacher and student and between the platform they are delivering through. So this can be a valid point, and I would like to hear about from Professor Bashar, sir.
Yes, about the quality education, quality teachings, and quality education policy. Yes.
Well, if you say the policy, so policy, I think his question is teaching and not
Yes, no,
policy.
from World Talent Economy Forums, as we want to go for the concludings, we want to focus on even the quality policy issue as well. Yes.
Okay, well, so that's why I say we have to, as a nation, we have to go for quality. We should be uncompromising. That is a mindset. So I say this policy, who determine the policy? It is the national leaders, the politician who rule the country, you know. It is actually their performance. So we have to educate, we have to make knowledgeable to our those who are the policymaker. So who make our law? It is our member of the parliament. Who are the our member of parliament? Are they really ready or equipped with the knowledge and experience to frame the rule? That is I think the irregularity in our society. So in that society, actually, to expect equality of anything, including education, it's a dream. We cannot. I say always. Even I heard from the various universities in Bangladesh, they say even if everything is in order, still they have to bribe those are the team coming to visit the institution. So this is the problem. I say first we have to fix our policy. We should have a vision, right? And I said that many expect one is the national context. Every nation, they have their aspiration, which is mentioned in their constitution. So the education, it is the how actually they impart this knowledge, the civic rules, the responsibility, awareness, skill, many things are there. So these are actually the policymakers. They have to set the standard. I said nowadays we have to set the global standard. I say even the school may be in the village, but it should be at par with whatever in the Boston or whatever in Singapore, near to our country, like this. It was the same. So for that, we need a preparation. First, we have to. I will say we have to fix our mindset. We have to reset our mindset. And first, we will go for quality. We will not compromise. It is not you and me. This is our leader, our prime minister, our education minister. They are making the policy. If they become honest, if they have that vision, then thing will change. Then you and me and others, they can help. We can formulate, we can frame. But if there is no guarantee to implement it, I told you there are many factors are there. Why quality teaching is absent? One is the quality people are not there. Our government are not intended. I say even the education is very neglected. And you see all the education institution as well as their management, the directorate, all are corrupted. Even for a job, for employment, for transfer, for stability, they have to bribe. So a lot of the challenges for the teachers. Again, I said this teacher, the selection of the teacher is important, the quality. We cannot choose the best. Best is not coming because the salary they are offering not enough for their respectable life. So I say that's why we have to attract those talented people. So who can give their best? They're not coming here. So that's why the quality, deterioration of the quality, many factors. One is the policy, and government is not determined actually to maintain the. Say for even for last 15 years, what I see in Malaysia, they never compromise. Every year hospital, you have, I think for last few months, many hospitals in Bangladesh, they do not have any accreditation. And in Malaysia, every year they have to accredit and they have to display it at the gate of the hospital. This hospital, this is the category. They categorize grade A, B, C, D. So what is the standard of this hospital? So government has to monitor strictly. These are things not in place in Bangladesh. This is a problem. So that's why the teacher, I say, teacher are not interested because they choose the teaching only for their survival. They're not passionate. and then again how to impart the teaching. Say for I am say for if I someone the medical graduate, they studied for 5 years in the medical college, they are not actually eligible for practice medicine because they have to undergo training for another 2 years internship, you know it. And then medical council recognize they are eligible to treat any patient or not. So this is strictly all the developed country, they maintain this quality. So same thing we have to follow. The rules, regulation, and the culture observed in the developed country by which they become a developed, if we follow the same thing in our country, then we can achieve the quality teaching. And so this is not in a nutshell, this is my message.
Thank you. This is actually a very good policy discussions. Even I think audience has huge questions and other thing. Thank you, Professor Bashar and Mr. Arif, for give us your time and everything. So I want to directly go for the concluding remarks. Mr. Arif, can you give us the concluding remarks, please?
Yes, thank you very much for inviting us and for this wonderful discussion. I, on behalf of Bangladesh part, because our other guest was from other countries, so on behalf of Bangladesh part, would like always looking for quality education, to see the quality education and implementation, because we have a lot of opportunities in Bangladesh to implement. If we have proper education and research and development, definitely as a developing nation, we have a lot of things to develop in Bangladesh. And I think the things are moving towards since last couple of years, because if you see the foreign remittance is coming from abroad, so definitely we are delivering to other countries definitely the services and goods. That's why we are bringing foreign remittance. So it shows actually that we are growing actually in terms of quality, in terms of delivering services to other countries. Yeah. So thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you. Basically, World Talent Economy Forum, with the collaboration of Asia Research and Development Institute, as well as Al Noor Academy, Sarhadia Barhad, we are also doing a different kind of research and different kind of innovation consultancy, and we are engaged with different Ivy League universities and the Silicon Valleys, different organizations and corporations, and even we are trying to create some better ecosystem, not only in Asia, not only in North America. We do focus around the world. Even you see today, we have a strong collaboration with Africa. We know that Africa has billions of people. We know South Asia has billions of youth mind, and also in Asia Pacific, very, very active in terms of quality educations. And yes, Malaysia, Singapore is a very good research hub that many people from around the world, they are actually recognizing that yes, Singapore, Malaysia, they're maintaining the quality. So Professor Bashar actually come up with the idea of Asia Pacific, and by this way, this is the way that we have to exchange our knowledge. We have to exchange our view. We have to collaborate as much as possible. Without collaborations, individual me is not enough. I think we have to bring all of the talented people, all of the brilliant mind, like today's guest, to our sessions. And we also try to learn every time. And we believe in half cup empty, half cup full. Always we are loving to share and care. And we are ready to learn. So directly, I want to go to Professor Bashar for the concluding remarks for today's session.
Thank you, Mr. Sharif, for arranging this very precious program, changes of views across the continent, the talents you have brought from the North America, from Africa, and from Asia. This is a very wonderful combination. I really appreciate your disability and your visionary effort. The education is a very, very important area. For any country, if they want to prosper, I will recommend that they will invest maximum in the education. This is only the education. If you invest here, and that will bring changes in every sphere of life. So our government should take a really realistic approach. If they really want to flourish, because they have so many vision. But what I feel as a citizen of Bangladesh, we have the tremendous potentiality. Our youth can conquer not only Bangladesh, they can conquer the world. And already there are evidence, I can tell you, of our youth, they're contributing for the development. Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, USA, UK, Australia, everywhere in the globe. So we have to train up to bring changes for social reformation. We have to focus for quality education. That is the policy has to be adopted by our national policy maker. That is the main focus who can bring real change. Our youth is ready. Actually, they are aspirated for it. They want all those quality teaching. They are ready to adopt all those things. But who will provide it? It is the responsibility of the government when they take over the country to provide all those facilities to groom our youth so that they are prepared to serve the nation as well as the global community. So I will assure the youth who is listening at this program nothing to be frustrated. Somewhere, if we change our mindset, you can start today by changing your mindset to cope up this new situation. The world is very big. If you do not find opportunity in Bangladesh, you will find opportunity in somewhere else, but you have to look for it. But I will advise you never compromise the quality. If you want to flourish, if you want to succeed, there is no alternative of it. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much, everyone, for giving me this opportunity. I am really delighted. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you.
Before ending the session, actually, I would like to invite Professor Bashar as a non-resident Bangladeshi scholars to come Bangladesh and visit Bangladesh frequently and share your knowledge and skill experience with Bangladeshi teachers and scholars. As a contact point, I can play the role in Bangladesh because I'm connected with many universities in Bangladesh. So if you people like you NRB scholars would like to contribute to the country sometime in Bangladesh and sometime in some universities as a part-time lecturer or professors, I can collaborate these things. So thank you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for the very good sessions, and this is very informative sessions, and especially I would like to give thanks to the audience, those who come up with a very important questions today. And because question is very, very important, we have to ask questions, then we have a more opportunity to learning. So thank you, Professor Bashar, and thank you, Mr. Arif, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.